Guys, welcome back to Windsome Cottage Garden. My name is Hannah and I'm so glad they decided to join me today. We're in the city garden and it is a really exciting day because I'm going to be planting the first vegetables out in my vegetable garden for 2023. I've been hardening off some leafy greens that we started a while back, as well as some ranunculus corms that we pre-sprouted and some alyssum and kale and things like that. All of the things that I'm planting out today can handle some colder weather and a frost, and they won't be too bad. Now, I'm not going to be putting out some of my warmer weather things like tomatoes or peppers. Those won't go out till the end of May, and then some of the flowers and things as well. So the hardening off process is basically just an opportunity for your plant to come outside and get slowly used to the outdoor conditions. Not just the wind and rain, but also the sun. Even if you've got really powerful grow lights, they are not as powerful as the sun, and your plant needs to kind of slowly acclimate to that outdoor lifestyle before just moving them out there. Otherwise they can shock and die or get scalded because the sun is just too much for them. So what I've been doing is, starting about a week ago, I'd bring everything out for 2 hours, then bring them back in. The next day 4 hours, the next day 6 hours, the next day 8 hours, and so on and so forth till I built it up so now they can just go out 24/7. Now I'm going to be planting these, and this is a tiny bit daring because tonight is going to get a bit cooler. It's going to get down to about 36, 37, and there's a potential for a frost. All of these plants can take a frost, so I'm not worried about that, but I would have rather it not be their first night out. Adding to this conundrum is the fact that I'm actually not going to be here tomorrow and the next day. I am planting and dashing, as I often do, but I really need to get these out from under grow lights. I need those grow light space for other things. So I'm going to take a risk. I'm not going to plant all of these outside. I'm going to end up taking some with me. And the things that I'm planting, the ranunculus are going to be fine. The leafy greens could potentially bite it, but they're easy enough to start. So it's worth the risk for me sticking them out and hoping they make it. So that's what I'm going to do. Now we're going to be putting these in two different areas. The first of which is two of the beds on my driveway actually have heat cables buried. One of them I plugged in this morning to get the soil heated up. I have to go find a splitter to plug the other one in. And then the rest are going to go in the proper vegetable garden. The first thing I'm going to do is actually prepare the areas for the vegetables. This is a raised bed mix that has had a lot of stuff added into it, but each year before I plant things in it for the first time in a season, I add a nice layer of compost as well as some fertilizer. So that's the first thing you're going to see me do as soon as I find the splitter to start the other heat cable. And these are actually also still covered for the year. After I clear my beds in the fall, I put down a food grade plastic to kind of help keep weeds at bay. So I'm going to do that amendment of the soil. And then I'm actually going to put down a layer of straw, and then I'll plant the stuff in. The straw also helps keep the weeds at bay and just the things that I want to get in there to be grown. So what I think I'm going to do is actually set you guys up and just kind of run through everything. And at the end, I will go through and show you in a little closer detail where everything ended up and what varieties of things are planted out right now. it's looking fantastic, and I'm so excited to see things in the ground finally. Let me show you what I ended up doing on the driveway real quick. So this is my driveway garden. You can see I park here and then I do a squash trellis in the summer. But this is usually where I actually plant my peppers, because this is a heat trap and they really like to bake. So I put 3 peppers in each of these. And it actually works better than anywhere else I've ever done. So I'm really pleased with it. Last year, one of the things I did was bury 2 heat cables in these 2, which you can see all of the accoutrements, so that I could do some spring crops when things are a little early. I honestly, if I had these things hardened, probably could have planted these lettuce things in here like a week or 2 ago. I was just a little behind on the hardening. The heat cables will keep this soil about 65-ish degrees, which is right where these brassicas like to be. You'll see I do have drip hooked to each of these containers, but it is not on yet. In each of these, I did 9 lettuce and kale total and 2 alyssum, leaving space for the 3 pepper plants because I suspect those will be planted before I'm done harvesting these. I could be wrong, they could bolt early, but I wanted to leave room to stick the pepper plants in just in case. I'm not going to put it up right now, but I do also have like a homemade, how should I call it? Like greenhousey type things for those 2 beds. You probably saw the like pop-up greenhouses I'm using in the vegetable garden area. I actually purchased those for the driveway beds. I measured them. I was so pleased they were going to fit, and then I got them and I realized I had looked up the length of my mini horse troughs, which they're like oval. So that was the longest length, and these are square. And to make a long story short, they just don't fit. So I've had to use them in other areas, and they came in handy back here. I could not be happier with this. So these are actually from Gardener Supply Company. I'll see if I can find their name. And one of the things I did like about them when I used them last year, they help contain heat down, keep frost and stuff off. But this is mesh, so it lets heat escape when it gets really hot. And I just have some garden staples that I staple them down on both sides. In this bed, I put more leafy greens. So there's some more kale, salanova, mustard greens. I think we have dino kale, Scotch curled kale, and ragged jack. So a nice little salad mix that might even see me through the summer. I'll probably start some stuff in June in here, but other than some radishes and things like that, this'll serve me quite well. So I just make sure that I can cover it, and then they have 4, if I'm confessing I don't always put all 4 in, but they have 4 of these things that I just hook my garden staples through and pin down into the soil. I'll probably do 3. 1 at the back. It's not going to go anywhere. So that is all buttoned up, and that was the rest of my leafy greens for here. And then over here I just planted ranunculus. I had the ones I bought at our grocery store here that like really pre-sprouted, and then mine were here. Mine had just started emerging, so I buried those the proper 2-inch depth. I'm finding spacing a tiny bit because you want ranunculus corms to be 2 inches deep and 4 inches spaced. I'm a little close here, but I wanted everything to fit under this, and I think it does. But then these guys, I made sure to have the leaves out of the soil. I started putting straw down and I realized, I should wait until they're up and then be more careful about it. So I stopped halfway through, and I'm going to quickly pop this guy on. And this actually makes me feel a lot better about gardening and dashing, because this is going to see them well through the night. Between the heat cables on the driveway and the fact that they're in a like much warmer area, and then these pop-up tents, these plants are going to be fine even if it gets frosty tonight. And there it is, all buttoned up. So exciting to see plants here, even if I can't physically see them at the moment. That's gonna do it for this video. I know I'm hoping it was exciting for me as it was for you to see things get in the ground and finally begin to take shape. I'm really excited. I think next week I'm going to be planting some seeds for some root crops like beets, turnips, rutabaga out here, as well as some peas maybe. I gotta keep an eye on the temperatures, but it's just gonna start taking off from here. And I'm looking forward to getting some seedlings out and growing on outside. So if you like this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe so you can follow this garden's journey as well as our cottage garden's journey, which we'll be visiting again quite soon. And you can see these plants grow up throughout the season and all the other gardening projects we do at Windsome Cottage Gardens. I really appreciate you joining me today, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.